Good afternoon, guys. How's it going? So this is going to be part 5 of the shed build. Moving right along. I went to Home Depot again. They still do not have the 10-foot ribbed metal roof panels. So on this episode, I'm going to focus on putting in the blocking, putting in my fascia pieces, and doing the house wrap and installing the windows. So as you can see, I have a tarp up. It's been a little rainy, but we'll see. I'm gonna keep working anyway. So yeah, that's it. Episode 5, blocking, fascia, house wrap, windows. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. All right, so the blocking that is going to be going in here is going to be 2x6 material. And basically what the blocking does is it fills the gap in here, and it'll be on the front side of this board so that when I put the paneling on and the house wrap on the outside, it'll go all the way up that. So all of these rafters will get blocking in between. On the ends, I will cut 2x4s that are going to basically follow the ribs here of the framing, and they'll go all the way up to the roof level, or basically to the top of that 2x6. And then that'll give me my nail points for the paneling above the wall and also the house wrap. So that way it'll seal everything up nice and tight. And then I also got some hurricane straps, so I'm going to be installing those real quick, which basically that is just a metal flange that nails to here and then to the side of the beam. So you put those on each beam. I think technically you're supposed to put one on each side, but I just got one for each beam. And then I'm going to put them in the back here as well too. So that'll be what I'm going to be working on. All right, so all the hurricane straps are up. And another thing that I forgot about that I need to do is I need to drill a hole through this and through this 4x8 all the way up so that I can bring this electrical cord down so that it'll actually be inside this wall. And then I will I'll get a junction box here, and then that's going to break out and it'll come to a switch down here which will be inside the door. And then also we'll go up, and then we will have, lighting in here. I don't know if I'm going to just use shop lights for right now, or if I'm actually going to put like a fixed light, because for the foreseeable future, I don't know when this is actually going to get finished on the inside, so we'll probably just end up using shop lights. But I still want to do the outlet and make it proper rather than having extension cords running all over. The next thing I'm going to work on is going to be cutting these uprights that are going to go above, which are the 2x4s. And I have a bunch of 2x4 scraps, so I should have more than enough, hopefully, to do all of these on this side as well as on this side. All I'm really going to be doing on these, I'm just going to place it above the beam and then basically just put a mark where the top of the rafter is, and then that's where it's going to get cut off at. And then I'll just do the same thing along this whole piece. Okay, I'm done adding all of these blockings. I have the 6-inch piece of blocking on the end there, front face. And over on this side, of course the sun came out now, so I took the tarp down. Still should have kept it for shade. 6-inch blocking there. I have all these 2x4 pieces of blocking. And over here I had to do something kind of special because this was just a really weird sort of opening. So I had a cutoff of a 2x12 that I had used on another project for some shelving. So basically what I did is I notched it so that that 2x4 would fit, and slipped it up in here. So it's basically screwed right against this beam of the carport, the 2x12 coming in there. This is the 4x8 beam that is the support for the carport. And then it goes into this beam, so it's tacked in there. I'm gonna have to be careful when I'm doing the house wrap and make sure that I get this corner here really weatherproof, because that's a good spot for water intrusion. So I'll have to pay attention to that when I'm doing that part. So I decided to just go ahead and cut my purlins and the rafters, and I'm going to basically cut everything about 2 inches short of what the 10-foot by 18-foot roofing would be, because you want to have a little bit of overhang anyway, where it's not actually touching on the wood. If you look on the well, I don't know if you can see it, but right here on this roofing, you can see how the purlin doesn't go all the way to the edge. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut this side here, and I'm going to put on the fascia board, and then I'm going to go ahead and trim these end pieces here to where, like I said, it's 2 inches short of 10 feet for the overall length. So that's going to be including the fascia board that I'm going to put on. And we'll go from there. So what I'm getting ready to do right now is to put all the blocking in, those 5 pieces of 2x6. The rafters, I'm basically tucked up right to the blocking board of the carport, and I'm marking this off at 1/16.5. So with my 1.5 fascia board, the 2x6 I'm going to be using for my fascia, that'll put me at 1/18, which will be 2 inches short of the 10-foot mark. So I should be good on there. Okay, all the rafters are cut down to the same length. All of the purlins on this side are cut down to the same length. So I'm going to add the piece of fascia on the front here, and it's going to be sticking out a little bit so that I can line it up to the piece of fascia that's going to go on this side. The front fascia is up. I put a little detail here, just a little 45 cut to match up where the 2x4 comes in. The 2x4 is mounted. For right now, I'm leaving this just hanging as it is until I figure out what I'm going to do around this drain pipe. I may even just end up relocating that drain pipe out to the end here and then redoing all this piping. I gotta see, that's gonna be a lot of work, but I'll figure out what I'm gonna do when I get to that point. So now I'm going to put up this second piece of 2x6 fascia, and I went and measured from the very end over there 18 feet, because that's the absolute maximum that the roof can be. So I'm going to end up cutting these down, which if you can see on this very last one, the line right there, so that's where they're going to get cut down to, and they will probably end up getting cut at least 1.5 inches more, possibly further, just depends. Once I get the roofing and I actually lay it out and see how it's going to fit up, then I'll figure out where I'm going to cut that. But these are right now just really long, so I'm going to cut them down. Okay, so these are all cut down. Fascias are all up, minus this last one. Blockings are all in. So I think I'm going to call this a night, but it'll be just a second for you guys. All right, it is the next day. It has been kind of raining off and on this morning so far, but it's sort of dried out a little bit right now. So I am at the point where I'm ready to start putting the house wrap on. And I'm going to start that in this back corner here where I replaced the beam, because I want to bring the house wrap behind the gutter, or behind the gutter drain there. So I'm going to bring it here, and then I'll wrap around all the way and then back to this corner. And then also I got this hole drilled here. I got this outlet mounted. This of course is just temporary. Eventually there will be a junction box, and then I'll run to a couple different spots in here. And I thought about even bringing a second line over here just so everything's not running off of a single circuit. All right, this is the house wrap that I got, which is just the standard house wrap that they carry at Home Depot. It's 9 feet tall, 150 feet long, woven house wrap. And I guess it looks like that. So it says Everbuilt and Home Depot on it. And then I also got these, which are plastic cap nails. So this is what you use to secure the house wrap. So that is what I will be using to put this on. You could also use staples. The only thing about that is that then you have a hole in the wrap and there's nothing really protecting it. This way with the cap nail, it's kind of like a little rubber washer there, so it kind of seals the hole as it puts the hole in, just to keep it more waterproof, I guess. All right, so that is not the easiest thing to try to do by yourself. So this side I got all the way tacked down, and I actually have the top is folded over and it's stapled on the inside. So I did that all the way around. Looks like I missed one right there, so I need to go staple that still. But yeah, this one's all tacked up. And then around this side, I still need to run these up, put them over the top, and then staple them from the inside, just to make it really secure. And then I'm actually going to take a sheet of this and I'm going to put it across the top too. Hopefully it stays. We'll see how it does with the wind, but when the sides are on, you shouldn't have as much gusting as when I had the tarp on there. I don't know how well it's going to hold up with rain, because it's probably not rigid enough to actually run off the rain, but we'll see. Worst comes to worst, I'll just have to pull it off once I get the metal roof. All right, I apologize if there's wind noise because it's a little windy right now. I have the top all the way on. Again, I'm not 100% sure on this. So I'll see how it does. I tried to get it as taut as I could and hope that any rain that does come sheds off the ends. I guess we'll see though. I mean, worst case scenario, I just have to rip it all off when I get the metal roofing in, but it's not that big of a deal. All right, so my next step is going to be installing these windows, and this is going to be permanently installing the windows, because after this, the next thing that's going to happen will just be putting on the siding, and then trimming out the windows afterwards and all that. So for the windows, I'm going to be using this product here, which is window and door flashing tape. It's basically like butyl rubber, and you put it, you know, all the way around, put your window in, and then you put it on either side as well as the top, and that will seal the window so it's watertight. All right, so I'm going to start with a small window first. So you can see the outline of the window here, and when you cut into this, you want to make sure that you start at the corners and then come out. A lot of people will just do a cross from corner to corner, because you want this to get wrapped into the windowsill. And then the top one, you want to leave long, because you're going to lift that up, put your window in, and then it's going to come down over top of the window, just for that extra bit of waterproofing. So you don't need a lot of excess on here, because you only want it to just basically go around the corner, because when you put the tape on, the tape needs to stick to the actual windowsill, to the actual wood. Because if you put the tape over top of here, it's not really sealing to anything. So you could even cut this back to right at the corner would be fine too. And I think that's probably what I'm going to do, or just past the corner. All right, so when you're sealing a window, you want to start from the bottom and work your way up, because you want to put the bottom layer on, and then you'll put the side on, which will go over the bottom, and then you'll put the top on, which will go over the side. So that way everything is kind of like, if you think of shingles on a roof as one lays over the next, you want to do the same thing with your tape. So this will get one whole wrap, and then the window will get put in, and then we'll do the top and sides. And then you leave the bottom open, because if any moisture does happen to get into the window, you want to be able to give it a place to leak out. So it's good too to maybe kind of lay out your piece, because that way you have the size that you need. This stuff is extremely sticky, and if it goes on wrong, you're going to have to rip it off and redo the whole thing. And then you see how wide this is, right? So I'm going to stick this on here and then wrap it in, but you want to make sure to leave enough to cover the entire sill so that it actually wraps on the inside.
I'm going to cut this off so it doesn't get caught on there.
Now as you see, I overlap the windows on both sides. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a cut here and here so that that can wrap into the corner of the sill. You want to almost stretch it as you apply it. All right, that's all on. Complete seal on the bottom now. So I'm going to continue with the sides, and then when I get to the top, I'll stop. I guess I'll just do a time lapse just so it goes kind of quicker. Otherwise, this is really boring. All right, so now for the top portion, you see how I slice this on either side so that I can pull this up. I'm going to put my piece of tape on here. It'll wrap around just like these side pieces, and then the window's going to go in. And on this, you want to make sure that you overlap these pieces here as well. So you want to make sure that the piece is wide enough to cover both of those sides. This stuff is really sticky. It's hard to get off. Okay, and then again lift this up. Put that all the way out to the edge. And again, as you apply it, you want to kind of stretch it a little bit. Not a lot, but just enough to make sure that it's nice and tight. All right. There. And slice these corners at an angle and wrap it around. All right, so this is ready for the window now. All right, so we're ready to put this window in. I want to make sure to lift this up. That's going to go on the outside. And I'm going to throw a level on here. I don't think it's super critical for these windows because they're so small. It is off a little bit. Actually, right there is good. All right. So the main reason for the level is when you get into bigger windows and they're on a slider, because these ones slide this way as opposed to up and down. If it's not level, it's not going to slide as nicely as if it was level. But this window is so small, I don't think it's really going to matter. But I did get the level, so I'm going to go ahead and punch in the screws now. the screws are in. You don't need to go crazy on the screws. I basically put them every other hole. You could put one in every hole if you want to, but again, these windows are so small. I didn't put any on the bottom. Let me add those real quick. All right, so the window's installed now. Now I'm going to go through the same process, and I'm going to put the tape on, starting with the sides, and then I'm going to do the top so that the top overlaps the sides. And then this will get trimmed to right about where the window is, just so that it's over this tape basically. Not sticking to the tape. There we go. Okay. All right, so this window is done. Everything is sealed up. Not putting any on the bottom so that if there is water that gets in there, there's a spot for it to drain to. And that is pretty much it for that window. All right, I'm gonna get started on the second one. I'll probably just do that one off camera just because it's gonna take a little while. All right, real quick before I put this window in, I wanted to show the corner detail of what I was talking about as far as overlapping. It's kind of hard to see, but basically this piece, I did a cut right here so that when this folded in, you can see the little 45 right there, and then it goes back. So this corner is completely sealed up. That's what you want for the bottom of the window. All right. So this thing is pretty much done, as much as I am going to do for this video. This door is going to stay sealed until I get ready to actually build the door, which I'm not in a big hurry for that. So yeah, that's going to wait. This side is all done. I left this stuff long up here because I'm not sure what I'm going to do up there. I may end up filling that because I want that gap closed up that's up there as well. And there's my windows installed. Still a little bit of rain in here from this morning when it was raining. Hopefully that'll dry up. I'm going to just leave the windows open, and then of course this doorway is open, so should dry up. And then there's the back side. So that's a pretty big step. Again, another video where I got a lot done. Right now I'm to the point where I need the roofing, which I'm not sure about that. Like I said in my last video, Home Depot here in Hilo is out. Home Depot in Kona says that they have some, but if we do end up going over there, I'm gonna call first and have someone physically verify that it's there before I, do 4 hours of driving. But we may end up going over there anyway, possibly this weekend. Today's only Friday, so maybe this weekend, who knows. And then so the roofing, and then of course the paneling, which I'm going to just be buying piece by piece as I can afford, because the tri-ply, they call it, which is the same stuff that's on the house, it's about $45 per piece, and it's basically 16 inches tall and 16 feet long. So it's long strips, and then it's like tongue and groove. So yeah, so to do the whole shed, it's going to be somewhere like $800 something, I think. So I'm probably going to just buy some, finish this wall first, of course, because this is the outward facing wall, and then possibly work on the ends from there. So that'll be the next steps on the next video. This is part 5 of the shed build, and I just want to say thanks for watching, guys, and thanks for tuning in. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next video. Aloha.